Today.
I got a burp though.
Oh, it looks like you're trying to poo. Constipated.
Oh, it's stuck.
You have to stand up and sit down. You have to move your body.
Maybe chug more so that it
Yeah, sometimes it hurts it more. Sounds like you're puking. So
wasn't
Eric's
a
dying.
pleasant burp. It's not one of the fun ones.
Oh, so you're dying today.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Be-Cuzz podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm Hailey.
And this is episode number 5.
Is it 5 now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 5.
I can't even count. I could try to count, but I don't know.
Sorry about last week where we were going to do a Halloween episode, but we both were kind of sick.
We had to be mature adults.
Yeah, we had to be mature adults. I just had a sore throat.
And I had the same thing. I was I would say I was stuffed up, but I'm always stuffed up. That's just who I am. So I can't even count that as a symptom.
So we decided to not record the video because, Corona is out. It's going around.
She's out there.
She's out. So.
And if you did party this weekend, shame on you.
Shame on you.
I'm not going to say I'm angry. I'm going to be like Bailey Sarian and say I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, it's bad. So this episode is all about family. In our family, we have a really unique family.
Oh my gosh.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, I would say our family's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know what I would say about that because our family... Oh no. So me and Eric, we're cousins.
We're cousins, hence the name, because
we're so creative.
Yeah.
We are not actually biologically related, though.
Not by blood. I remember when we were young and you were babysitting and stuff, you would say, "Oh, we're not blood related," and I had no idea what that meant for the longest time. And then you finally explained it to me when I was a bit older, and I was like, "What?"
You're like, Auntie Laura's adopted?
I was like, what's going on?
See, it doesn't, and blood doesn't actually matter.
It does not matter
it's just,
at all.
we don't share...
Physical traits. That's
pretty
much
exactly,
it.
Exactly.
That's the only thing.
I mean, it's fairly apparent when you see my family with the Williams side.
My side.
My mom does not look like them.
Nope, not at all.
Not at all. And then I find that, we're every family's different, but I find that the Dervicks are very different. We're the weird ones. I don't know. I just find that we're really different than all the Williams. We're just kind of
To be fair, every family's weird. Nobody likes to admit it, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But the Williams have their interesting parts too. Yeah.
I would say that don't take this the wrong way. I would say that the Williams, and I'm not saying that we're my family's not this either, but the Williams kind of have a dorky side to them a little bit because you guys are smart, right? Well,
not me. I'm not, but it's stereotypically yes on the Williams side. We're definitely more dorky. I agree. I'm a self-proclaimed dork, so
it's a different kind of dork though, because I don't think that it's not my family's cool. I wouldn't be we're just so cool. We're the cool ones hanging out with you guys. But there's something that you guys just kind of share.
Well, it's because Papa, so my grandpa, and your grandpa,
well,
but the Williams side grandpa, he's really good at math and just builds everything. He turned his truck thing, he made it so it runs off of vegetable oil.
Yeah.
He did that all himself.
And he did that spaghetti bridge thing. He won...
He was in the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum for, the best spaghetti bridge, something.
Or something strongest. I don't know.
The strongest spaghetti bridge. So he made, a little bridge out of spaghetti.
That was in the 90s, I think?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah.
And he has this whole system of like testing the strength of the pasta and like stretching it and drying it. It's really complicated. So that about sums up my papa. It's just
that
super,
also
like,
sums up your family. Like,
yeah,
what they like. I made a spaghetti bridge and it's real strong.
and it's the best in the world.
See, it's
Not
like
you-
it's still amazing, but
Yeah.
it's like it's a spaghetti bridge.
It's a spaghetti-
So I guess
And he doesn't hold the title anymore.
oh,
unfortunately.
well, he needs to step up his game.
I know.
So I guess then we should. The elephant in the room is that. Sorry, I'm still stuffed up. Is that my mom is adopted
Into the Williams family.
So she has an interesting kind of backstory, I would say. We don't know really much about her family. Like, we don't. Like, she's talked to her birth mother on the phone, like, in the last maybe 15 years. I honestly know nothing about her. So my mom, we believe that she's from Saskatchewan, her birth mother, and then gave birth to her here. And then your parents, or not your parents.
No.
Wow. No.
My dad's parents.
Yeah. So, and your dad wasn't alive yet because our grandparents had Uncle Dave and didn't think they were going to be able to have any more kids. So they wanted to adopt. Yeah.
Wanted to adopt.
And it's that typical adoption story where you adopt a kid and then you get pregnant right after.
Yep.
Because then they got pregnant with Uncle Mark right after.
Right after. So it was Uncle Dave, they adopted Auntie Laura. My dad happened, and then Auntie Becca happened.
Yeah. And Uncle Dave is 6 years older than my mom.
Yes. So there's a
it's
big
like
gap.
that. Yeah. So he's like the odd one out with all the siblings because he's so much older. So that's kind of the weird thing is because, again, our grandparents are American.
Yes.
But I don't know how they ended up.
Well, I honestly don't know how they ended up in Canada either. All I know is they moved around a lot.
Yeah.
And my papa's from Ohio.
So is Grammy.
And Grammy? So
Yeah.
they're all from Ohio. And
They're like high school sweethearts.
Correct, yes. And for some reason they moved up to Canada. And because our parents lived in
North
Carolina for a
yeah.
year.
I think they lived. Was it longer than
Was
that?
it just a year?
I thought they lived in Ohio too.
No, I don't think so. Maybe they did, but
Yeah.
it was probably when they were younger.
I don't know. I could be making that up. I don't know. I know nothing. I see nothing. I know nothing. I don't know. Okay, but yeah, that's definitely. Papa was basically like, he kind of did what Katy Perry's dad did. He like traveled to churches.
A lot of pastors.
Yeah.
That's very common.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing. Like what he did is he would like go to other churches.
He'd like be a pastor at a church. He'd like get it going, and then he'd go to another church.
Is there a name for that? Like, is it like a missionary pastor?
No, not a missionary. He's just a pastor who moved around a lot.
Yeah, he was.
Because it's very rare. Like, usually pastors do move around. That's very common. It's very rare in my situation because my dad's a pastor.
Yeah.
It's very rare that he's stuck with this church for so long.
Well, and yeah, because him and Scott
Like
founded the
besties,
church.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that my mom wasn't even like her birth mother wasn't even from Edmonton, and then gave birth to her here. And then the weird thing is with my dad is he was born in Calgary, and then he grew up there for a while, and then he grew up in BC, and then somehow both of my parents ended up in Lumby.
Yes.
Like this
Lumby,
small town.
I love Lumby so
I love
much.
it.
It's such a quirky little place.
It's adorable, but it's like, you know, a typical what you think of a small town.
Pretty small hick BC
Redneck,
town.
little like it's beautiful, like the area. I mean,
it could be Cherryville. Could be Cherryville.
it could be. I'm trying to think of a town out here that's.
If you don't know where Cherryville is, don't worry, because I really don't know either.
I don't even know how we get there. We just kind of
You just
drive through circles.
It's past. What direction? I think that's like east. So it's east of Vernon. So, Lumby is east of Vernon, and east of Vernon is Cherryville, and you wouldn't know it's there unless you were going there on purpose.
Yeah.
And you keep going on, so the regular road turns into a dirt road, and then it turns into a logging road, and you keep winding through the woods.
Oh man,
in BC.
I've gotten car sick.
It's
through
so
it.
windy. I remember my sister getting car sick, and then all of a sudden it flattens out, and the trees clear, and there's houses like
And there's
scattered.
like a hippie market and stuff.
It's called the Emporium. There's this little shop.
I love that.
The Emporium has ice cream. It has like the ice cream thing, like the scoops, and it's just this weird.
I haven't been there in
little
years.
shop.
I remember. Where's the place that we would do the gold?
That's In between Cherryville and
Lumbee, right?
and
Or
Lumbee.
in the camp,
In the
yeah.
camp.
Because that's so our grandparents took care of a camp.
They're the caretakers of a summer camp out in BC, and so
that's in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the sticks. It's
Yeah.
nowhere.
You're in the middle of the mountains. You don't have phone reception. I'm sure maybe now you do.
No, you do. Back like when we were kids, there was no phone service.
I remember
it was all
even-
through like satellite phones.
Yeah, when I was even 13 and I had a phone at that time and I had no service.
Yeah.
Like I could use a computer, but it was really, really slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're kind of.
Those are some good memories out at the camp. Also at the camp, it's off the grid, so they make their own electricity. They have their own hydroelectric dam that's like up on the side of the mountain that provides electricity for the camp. And guess who built it? Papa.
Of course, that you always know that he's gonna be the person behind that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, and I'm the one that built it.
What are some favorite memories of the camp? Because that's a very like big part of our family is the DVM camp out in BC.
I got bit by a donkey there.
Oh, I remember that donkey. So there's this, at the summer camp, there's this pasture where sometimes there'd be horses for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why there was horses, but there was horses.
But there's a stable and
there's
stuff.
a stable.
Yeah.
And
The
one
horses
year,
did not live there, though.
No, they just were there. I don't
They
know
would
why.
bring them there. It was like somebody that lived. I don't
honestly-
know. It was like almost like they rented them,
Right.
basically.
And I remember one year there was a donkey for some reason, and it
that
kept
donkey
escaping. It kept escaping,
Really?
escaping the pasture, and we couldn't figure out how. Because we like lead the donkey back into the pasture, lock the gate,
Why
go
don't
do
I
our
feel like
stuff,
I
go
remember
watch
that?
TV,
But I wasn't there.
and then
probably.
the donkey would be back out in the front lawn chewing on who knows what, and they'd be
Oh
like,
my
"Crap,
gosh.
the donkey's out again."
I love donkeys.
It was really cute.
I got bit when I was little though, because you're supposed to feed it with a flat hand,
Yeah.
and I didn't do that, and then I pulled my hand away. And I think it was like my mom's like, "Did you just get bit?" And I'm just like, all like, oh. I was very scared. I could have gotten my fingers bit off. Like who knows? I liked that camp. Pancakes there are always so good. Like
I've
the
never
breakfast
been
were
to
there.
camp there.
Oh,
I've
see.
always been just to visit grandparents when there's no camps going on.
Since I was like a baby, we would go to camp there.
Really?
Since I was a baby, yeah.
Like you went to like attended the actual camps.
Yeah, there's pictures of me
wow.
as a baby there, and as a little kid.
Wow.
There's a picture of me and Alicia on one of the horses when I was like 3. Like we went there every year, and we would I can't remember if my mom said that we stayed in a tent, but we would stay in a cabin and stuff. Your parents went there too. There's a picture
Yeah.
of them holding me as a baby.
Yeah, my parents attended camp there a lot.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Papa
It's just
pushed me off a swing at one point.
Of course.
Yeah.
also the backhoe.
The what?
The backhoe, like the tractor thing that he has, big yellow thing.
Oh,
Like he let me drive that when I was 5
why?
because he's Papa.
Yeah.
And he's
I guess he had
amazing.
his like dog ride with him on his quad or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
He has this. If you don't know what a backhoe is, Google it. He bought one just because he wanted a backhoe. And like, such a Papa thing to do.
This podcast is just about Papa.
It
That's
really
the funny
is, and
thing.
how Papa's pretty iconic when it comes to
I know. It's like when you think about it, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, you bought a backhoe because why not get a backhoe?
That's Papa.
And he let me drive it when I was 5. So yeah, there's that.
The
But
golf cart.
The golf cart. Also, that was more for Grammy to get around the camp. To get
Yeah.
from the house where they lived to the lodge where like the cooking was for the camp.
Yeah,
So she
but
wouldn't have to walk.
they let us drive
That.
the whole time we would stay there.
Yeah.
We would stay there for...
Didn't you jump it?
No, I fell off of it. No, Alicia, so me and my sister stayed there, and we were driving around, and then I can't remember, there was like just a bump, and she drove really fast, and I just like flew off of it. And I did not know, but I was pregnant at the time too. And yeah.
I remember for a while.
I was very early on, by the way. I was like maybe 2 weeks pregnant. So.
For a while, I had like this little electric dirt bike thing that my friend gave me, and it was so sick. And we brought it out to the camp one summer while we were visiting Grammy and Papa, because it's a perfect place to rip around on that thing. So me and my sister were like, "Why don't we race the dirt bike and the golf cart?" And the little electric dirt bike thing was way faster.
Yeah.
Like it accelerated faster, so I got ahead of her. She was like right behind me, and I went to turn and look behind me, but I
no.
accidentally turned my arm, so and then I started wobbling, and I almost fell off, and I was so close. Allison was so close to running me over with the golf cart. Thankfully, it didn't happen, but it was terrifying.
I remember trying to learn how to drive in reverse the golf cart. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Yeah. This is why I'm not allowed to have a license, because I'm like, because you know how it's the opposite?
Yeah.
But it's like, my brain just hated it. Like, I just couldn't do it, and I was like churning almost like, I just couldn't do it. I'm not allowed to do that.
We broke, my dad was teaching me how to parallel park. I think I was like 11. I learned how to parallel park when I was 11 because of the golf cart. So my dad set up 2 plastic chairs that we had to parallel park between, and we broke both plastic chairs because he ran them over.
Well,
because I was 11.
I hope you reimburse
I
them.
Can't parallel park. Yeah. I'm 18 now, and I still can't parallel park.
The camp, we always have tons of memories, and we could go on and on about there. The camp. Yeah, because we all kind of grew up
going out there during the summer.
Have you ever been to Saskatchewan?
No, even though like a huge part of my family's heritage is Yellowgrass, Saskatchewan.
Really?
Yellowgrass, yeah, I've never been.
Okay, I wanted to say that I have been to Saskatchewan. I'm pretty sure that I have, because I think I remember going to our cousin's house there, like Ben, Claire, and Rosie, but honestly, I don't remember. I mean, really I could be making that up.
There's not really much to remember about Saskatchewan anyway. It's just flat.
It's like we've said that before. It's like Saskatchewan and Manitoba are the 2 most forgettable provinces.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, I always forget about Manitoba.
Manitoba? What's that? I don't even know.
Every time you do that, you throw me off. You did that last time. I actually don't really... I was just about to tell you what it was, which I was like, I don't really know what it is. I don't even know what they have there, but...
lakes. They have a lot of lakes.
Hey, lakes are cool. I like lakes. We were talking about this earlier.
Were we? I don't remember.
We were.
Oh, okay.
No, about how Allison looks like the Williams side, and how you look like your mom's side, which is what's her last name?
Murray.
Murray, yeah.
So my sister takes off of my dad's side, which is the Williams side. So she's very fair, not fair skin, but like white skin, very white.
Well, yeah, fair. Fair would be the proper...
fair skin and blue, like has the Williams blue eyes.
Yeah.
Very unique blue.
They're just like vibrant, like they're crazy.
Yeah. So she has that. My dad has blue eyes, but I take after my mom's side, which is the Murray side.
Which you're not as fair.
No, I tan super easily, and me and my mom have the same nose and eyes and chin, so we like look a lot. I think we look quite a bit alike, and personality-wise, I'm really similar to my uncle.
Really?
Yeah. It's really weird.
For me and my sister, so both my parents have dark hair, dark eyes and stuff, and then my sister came out with brown hair, brown eyes, which that's kind of what you expect, right?
Yeah.
And then when I was born, at first I, was like a normal baby. You come out with dark hair and stuff, but then my eyes, stayed blue. And my hair went really, really blonde, and they were like, "That's weird."
That's fun.
They're like, "Huh, that's interesting." But I take after my dad's side.
Yeah.
Like, people always say, "Wow, you look so much like your mom." But if you really look at me and like my features and without makeup, I look just like my dad's side. It's because of like how I style myself, like how I wear makeup and how I do my hair, and because I dye my hair dark. But I really look like the Dervick side. Like, I really take after that side. It's funny, and because like they're more fair, more freckly and fair and stuff. Like, my dad would be super fair like me, like really pale, but he works outside, so because if you see his stomach, it's like glows in the dark, which is basically my skin all year round. But
so this might shock people, because usually families move away from each other, like siblings will like move away to different cities, different areas, but guess what happened? My dad and my auntie, so Auntie Laura, who didn't get along a lot as children, now live next to each other.
Well, they've been living next door to each other for like 15 years.
My entire life.
Yeah.
I remember when you moved in, though.
Yeah, I remember. I was in
next door.
End of grade 5, so I was 10 when we moved in.
So my aunt lives next door to me, and my cousins live next door. for most of my life.
Yeah, that kind of made it was funny though, because my family, we were living in BC before we moved here. So again, we're from Abbotsford. That's where I was born. And, you know, things happened. We had to move out here. There was jobs and stuff. Like, Alberta was doing really well. And then we moved out here. We moved a bunch. And then we were living in that apartment for a while. And then my parents bought this house. Yeah. And it's just, like, everyone always questions me. They're like, why did your parents buy a house next door to, like, your mom's brother? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
But it works out quite well. I don't understand why people don't do it more often. Because we have a big backyard. Because we took down the fence in between. Like, it's really easy for holidays.
Oh, yeah. Like share each other's kitchens.
We share each other's kitchens. And, like, we'll, like, switch off houses. So, like, some years we'll have, like, Christmas Eve dinner here at your house.
We usually have it at your parents' house, though. For the longest time, we did the appetizers and stuff.
So we would do appetizers at my house, and then, like, the dinner here.
Yeah. That's what it'd be.
At the other house.
Yeah, and then usually we would... It makes holidays really fun. Like, Christmas. Because, like, we'll both do our own thing in the morning, and then, like, later we'll get to hang out. We're not having to, like, drive somewhere, and we're not having to stay somewhere else. Yes. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I have to stay at my aunt and uncle's tonight.
Yeah, just go back to your own house.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's one thing I don't really like, is not being in my own home for Christmas. I just don't like feeling out of place. But, yeah, that is definitely... It's very convenient. It's convenient.
It's very convenient, especially if you, like... don't have an ingredient. Like we just, like, give each other food or...
Yeah, and also it makes it easy to, for you guys to have a babysitter.
Yeah.
Because you guys are so little.
We were so little. Because you babysitted me and my sister Allison, Alicia.
My sister did it first, because she's older. Did it first.
And I was quite young. I was probably, like, 2, 3.
Didn't she take you on the bus once and people thought you were her kid?
Yeah, we used to do a bus trip adventure things, and she'd take me on the bus and we'd go different places. And I remember this really well, actually. People were asking... You must have been
like 4 or something.
If I was Alicia's son, and I would turn to Alicia and I was like, yes, I am, Mommy.
To be fair, I know we were talking about how, like, our families look different. For some reason, you and Alicia...
Because we both have, like, darker complexions.
Wait, it's something about it, and you have, like, similar eyes and stuff. Like, you guys could be brother and sister.
You could be.
Or she could be your mom.
Yeah, she could...
I mean, like, she's old enough, technically, that she could have, at a very young age, could have given birth to you. Yeah. Wait, how old was she when...
I was born in 2002.
I can't do math.
I can't either, so...
I don't know. She might have been, like, 13.
That's really young.
Still, you can have babies at 13. I got pregnant at 15, so you can't even... Yeah. I'm, like, not promoting teen pregnancy here. Whenever I mention that, friends and family, I'm not promoting that. I'm making light of my situation. I was going to use the calculator, because I was like... Okay, she's 32. Mine's 18. She was 14 years old.
She was 14.
You know,
that works.
That's not far off from what I like to one-up people, so my mom got pregnant at 18 with my sister, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be 15 and have it at 16. I'm going to be way better. You know, like, I just wanted to be younger. I hope Gabby doesn't do that. We're going to teach her about, you know, not being that way.
But you babysat me for a long time.
Yeah, because...
Again, I remember that more.
Because if you think about it, I babysat through junior high and high school, and Alicia didn't even live here. Like, she moved out. Yeah, she moved out when I was, like, she moved out when I started, like, before I started grade 7, and then she moved back for a bit. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know what I was going to say about her, but yeah, I would babysit you guys. We'd basically just play, like, computer games.
No, we'd play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and just, like, name the people. Like, Poopy Head and, like, Fart Brain.
Poo Poo Pee Pee or Pee Pee Poo Poo. Whatever what that the TikTok thing is now.
That was fun.
And putting you to bed was...
a nightmare.
Only sometimes. Like, it wasn't the worst, but you would sometimes grab onto the railing and... not want to go to bed. Yeah. You okay? You need to sneeze?
No, my nose is just sniffly. It's been sniffly all day. Don't know why.
This weather doesn't help. Fall's actually really bad.
Bloody nose, that's what it is.
No. Luckily, the bathroom.
Moving
on to the next one. Eric just had a nosebleed.
I just had a nosebleed, so, and we don't quite remember what we were talking about before, so
that was fun.
That was fun.
That was a good 10 minutes. So our family likes to share streaming services. That's another benefit of, family.
Yeah, we share, so we use my aunt's Netflix, so your mom's Netflix, you use your mom's Netflix.
Yeah.
Everybody uses our Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I don't know about Amazon Prime. I don't know who.
I know that my mom has it. I don't know if you guys use hers or if you have your own.
I think
I have my own, which I should probably just go onto my mom's.
And I think we just use our own Amazon.
Yeah.
Prime.
The only reason why I don't want to be on my mom's is because I have a subscription to Out TV on mine, so I don't want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And my mom doesn't want to have to like pay an extra subscription. I'm like, but I need to watch all stuff on Out TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's convenient. I don't have to pay for Disney Plus or Netflix.
You use our Disney Plus.
It's convenient. I love Disney Plus.
So it's kind of like a fair trade. We use their Netflix. They use our Disney Plus.
Yeah. And, our family, like, I get a lot of help from your family. Like, your parents have, like, driven me places. Your family would buy me formula when I had Gabby. Like, I've gotten a lot of help from your side. Like, a lot. Like, your family has been very, very, very good to me. And I actually do really appreciate that. Yeah. As I've mentioned before, and most people know about me, is I had a child very young. I was 15 when I got pregnant and had him when I was 16. He's actually going to be 10 this year, which is like crazy. In May, he's going to be 10, and that just like stresses me out so much. So when I got pregnant, I was pretty set on not keeping the child. The best option at this time was I wanted to do an adoption, and my mom being adopted, she wanted to do an open adoption. So I thought that would be best, and we went through this agency. This is the one memory I have that's so vivid that your mom's a part of. Anyways, so we went to this appointment. We looked through all these files. We were very, I want to say picky. Like, we were really picky on, what kind of family we wanted. My mom obviously wanted somebody that was, more religious, and stuff like that. And I wanted a couple that was more young, that didn't have their own kids. I didn't want, a family that, already had their own kids and wanted to adopt a kid kind of thing. And I wanted the parents to be younger because, well, my parents were younger when they had me and my sister. So I was like, that's kind of more what I want. And I remember we went home after the appointment in such a bad mood. And then your mom calls us and she was like, oh, I don't want to step on any toes. I don't know if even that's what she said, but she brought up how her cousin.
So my mom's cousin.
Yeah. So would that be your second cousin?
I think that would be my second cousin.
I don't know. So Eric's mom's cousin and his wife are looking to adopt. And as soon as your mom said that, I was like, I had a really good feeling.
Because they're young.
Yeah, they're young. They're, really cool.
Well, I think it's second cousin on your side.
Yeah, because I'm your cousin.
And then it's your son, so I think that's second cousin.
Would it be? I don't know how it works.
I don't know how this works.
Somebody needs to contact us and educate us on how families work, because we keep talking about this, and I'm sure we've mentioned this in another one that we've talked about. We do not know the connection of cousins.
We're not educated in that area, but I'm related through you because you're my cousin and he's your son, but I'm also related on my mom's side because it's the adopted son of my mom's cousin. Yeah. So it's really weird, but it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and the one thing is I didn't want him to be adopted by a random person.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to be someone really close. I didn't want it to be my cousin adopting my kid or something, because then it'd be too close.
It's kind of the perfect relational distance away where you still, family connections, but it's not immediate.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that because, again, I still feel that connection because it's we have family that we're connected with. And, I think it was I want to say it was either your mom's parents or grandparents. I want to say it's her parents. They were, like, one of the first people to hold my mom when she was born. Or it was, like, somebody's grandparents on that side.
I can't remember.
It was somebody on that side in the Molliettes and Marie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Molliette Marie. One of those people held my mom when she was adopted.
Oh, that's cute.
Or something. Again, I could be making up, but I'm pretty sure that was a real thing.
This is kind of going off your story with your adoption, but like there's this substitute teacher that worked at my school.
Oh,
it's my junior high. I don't know if I should say her name, but whatever.
She was also a substitute teacher
when you were at,
and when Alicia was,
and when Alicia was at that
and that's
school.
like a big age gap. So Alicia, as we specified before, is 14 years older than Eric, and so she was a substitute teacher when Alicia was in
there.
junior high.
So her name was Miss Lutek, and this is so weird, but when I went to meet Hailey's son for the first time, it was at this house. I didn't know whose it was, but we went in and met the baby. It was all good, and then I met the house owners, and so then I went on my way, and then when I went to Otwell, my junior high, I mentioned the name Miss Lutek to my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, that's my aunt's best friend, or good friend." And I was like, "Wait, what? Hold up. I was in Miss Lutek's house when I was 9, or whatever."
You should have been like how we were. My mom got mad at us because Miss Lutek came down to the basement when we were hanging out with Hayden or whatever, and me and Alicia started like whispering to each other and like looking, and my mom's like, "You guys are being so rude," and we're like, "That's Miss Lutek.
She works in our school."
Yeah, I was like, she was my like sub, like she would sub band.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the thing that was embarrassing for me is like she was my substitute teacher like 2 years before that. And I'm like, hey, my birth son's in your house.
And it was so like Miss Lutek was a cool person. I always liked her.
She's really funny because she can get so mad.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Miss Lutek, I'm sure you've heard that nickname, Miss Lunatic.
Yeah. It's good.
But I loved her. I actually liked her a lot.
She was good.
She was cool. She was like someone that, I don't know, it was like you wanted to get mad because it was like she was funny.
Yeah.
She was really cool.
There's another weird connection that the substitute teacher was good friends with my mom's other cousin.
Small world.
It's so weird. And I ended up in her house when I was like 9.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
That was just
And then
so
how many years later she subbed me for me, and I told her, and I was like, I confronted her one day and I was like, "Hi, do you know so and so, my mom's cousin?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I was in your house 6 years ago."
You're like, I was in your house.
And that's literally what I said, with not a lot of context. And she looked so confused. She's like, "Who is this child saying this?
Who are you?"
Then I explained it. And
you're like,
still,
"I was in your basement
I was in your basement holding a baby."
I was holding this little ginger child in your basement. She's like, "What?"
Even like I explained it further, like the situation, and she was still like weirded out, and she was like, "Okay," and then left. Like, okay.
She was excited when I talked to her, but I was also the one that had the kid, and I was at her house, so it was like, she's like, "Oh, I remember you were blonde," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't," and she's like, "And you have curly hair," because I had black straightened hair when I was there, and she was like, "Oh, you look different." I'm like, "I just had a baby 2 days ago, so I probably look really different." I probably look very tired. Yeah, that's really funny that we have those connections. Our family, I would say, is a good family. We have a good family. Yeah, I feel lucky.
I do too.
Yeah. So you know how when I get into stuff, I get really obsessed.
Yeah,
like
I do
weirdly
too.
obsessed.
Yeah.
So I got really obsessed with the Titanic.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Remember I had the list of all the crew or all the people that were on the boat. Anyways, we were at Grammy and Papa's. We always did crafts and stuff. And I was also really into Bratz. Mm-hmm. So I drew Bratz dolls, and then one of my pictures I drew was like the Titanic and the iceberg coming up, and I wrote "We remember." Oh my goodness. And they're like pointing at the iceberg, and then I can't remember.
Like Bratz dolls on the Titanic?
No,
okay, good. I was like...
No, but I also drew Bratz dolls like that day too.
Oh my goodness.
So like I'm pretty sure Grammy was like, to my mom was like, "Is Hailey okay?" Like, Because she just, like, drew this, like, very serious picture about the Titanic getting hit by an iceberg, writing, "We remember."
Like,
or I wrote, "Never forget" or "We remember." Or
it's not even Remembrance Day. Like...
Yeah. It's, like, a weird thing. And then I was drawing Bratz dolls. So it's, like, I was very creative, okay?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we've all, like, I went through Titanic phase 2.
I think everyone
Every
does.
kid does in elementary school.
Oh my, do we learn about it? Like, is that
I don't
why?
know. I think it's just because there's those books in the library that you get.
Yeah.
Those weird picture books.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's so bad. It's so funny to think about, like, the things we've been obsessed with.
I know.
Like, we've had some weird things like that.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this week's Be-Cuzz podcast. I hope you understood what was going on.
I don't even think I understood.
All over the place, because our family is all over the place.
I honestly don't even know if any of it made sense.
No, but you know what? It's mindless entertainment, so deal with it.
So...
Next week, we're going to be talking about holidays.
Yeah, so because we couldn't do Halloween, we're going to do 3 holidays in one episode. So we're going to do Thanksgiving, which we'll do Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then, or we'll talk about Canadian Thanksgiving, Halloween, and Christmas.
Yeah, so that'll be next week. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I don't know. Do something. Comment.
If you want.
Or if you want. If you don't want to, don't.
And remember, we can make fun of you, but you can't make fun of us.
Because we'll cry.
And that's a fact.
That's a fact. Okay, see you next time.
Why am I waving like they could see me? I was gonna